The story takes place in a unique school located at a central point in the galaxy, welcoming students from various planets and star systems. This school is a symbol of unity and learning among different cultures and species. Students come from worlds with completely different climates, ecologies, and societies. Some planets are covered in bioluminescent forests, others in arid deserts or endless oceans. Each student brings with them unique stories, traditions, and knowledge from their home world. The school is equipped with advanced technology, such as holographic classrooms, universal translators, and adaptable common areas to meet the needs of all species. The environment is vibrant, with exotic colors, sounds, and smells, reflecting the diversity of the students. Sabal is a respected and visionary teacher, known for his ability to teach not only academic knowledge but also values like empathy, respect, and collaboration. He believes the school is a microcosm of the galaxy and that by uniting the students, he is helping to build a more harmonious future for all. Sabal doesn't limit himself to teaching science, math, or history. He promotes activities that encourage students to share their cultures, traditions, and experiences. His classroom is a space where the unknown is celebrated, and the fear of the different is transformed into curiosity and understanding. Despite his optimism, Sabal faces challenges. Not all students are open to accepting differences, especially when it comes to species or planets considered inferior or dangerous. It is in this context that Julie, the first human at the school, comes into the picture. Julie is the first representative of Earth at the school, a planet that, for many, is surrounded by myths and legends. Earth is seen as a death world, an inhospitable and dangerous place where survival is nearly impossible. This stigma causes Julie to be viewed with suspicion and fear by the other students. Julie tries to fit in but faces difficulties. She is avoided during recess, ignored in group activities, and often eats lunch alone in an isolated corner. Her attempts to make friends are met with caution, as the other students fear what she might represent. The stigma of Earth as a death world weighs heavily on Julie. She feels she constantly has to prove she is not a threat, but she also doesn't want to hide her origins. This internal conflict is one of the main challenges she faces. Instructor Sabal observes Julie's situation with concern. He understands that the fear of the other students is based on ignorance and prejudice. Sabal sees in Julie an opportunity to teach the class a valuable lesson about acceptance and how the fear of the unknown can be overcome. Instructor Sabal proposes a challenging activity for his class. Each student, or group of students from the same planet, must create a video presentation showcasing the dangers of their home world. The goal is to educate their peers about the unique challenges of each planet, promoting empathy and understanding. Sabal wants the students to look beyond differences and realize that, regardless of the planet, everyone faces challenges. He hopes the activity will help break down prejudices and foster unity. As the only representative of Earth, Julie feels the weight of representing her entire planet. She knows Earth is seen as a death world by the other students, and this makes her nervous. She wants to show the truth about Earth but also fears the other students won't take her seriously. Julie decides to focus on Earth's natural dangers such as predatory animals, bears, sharks, snakes, extreme weather phenomena, snow, hurricanes, earthquakes, and even how humans can be dangerous. She gathers videos, images, and data about Earth's dangers. She also includes examples of how humans have learned to coexist with these dangers, showing resilience and adaptation. Julie plans to tell Earth's story in an engaging way, starting with an overview of the planet and then diving into the details of its dangers. She wants the students to see Earth as a challenging but also fascinating place. Julie fears the other students will laugh at her or not take her presentation seriously. She knows many of them have a distorted view of Earth, and this makes her anxious. Since the presentation is worth 40% of her final grade, Julie feels extra pressure to do a good job. She doesn't want to disappoint instructor Sabal, who has been her greatest ally at school. Sabal notices Julie's anxiety and encourages her. He reminds her that the task isn't just about dangers but also about sharing the story of her planet. He advises her to be authentic and not underestimate the impact her presentation could have. While Julie prepares, the other students are also working on their presentations. Each planet has its own unique dangers, from predatory creatures to extreme natural phenomena. 3 students from Berry, a planet known for its dense forests and exotic creatures, begin their presentation. They describe Berry as a beautiful but dangerous place where the forest hides deadly predators. They present a video of a small, furry creature with 4 legs and a bushy tail. The creature is shown in its natural habitat, walking calmly through the forest. The students from Berry dramatize the danger of the creature. They show a video where the creature is provoked with a piece of cloth dangling in front of it. The creature reacts with a hissing sound and attacks the cloth with its paw, revealing sharp claws that seem to appear out of nowhere. The presenters emphasize how deadly the creature is, saying that if it were a human arm, the creature would have cut down to the bone. The class reacts with murmurs of admiration and fear. Julie is perplexed to recognize the deadly beast as a simple domestic cat. She doesn't understand how something so common on Earth can be seen as a mortal threat. Julie raises her hand and asks, "Instructor, wasn't that just a domestic cat?" The class laughs, but Julie maintains a serious expression, trying to understand the discrepancy between reality and the other students' perception. Instructor Sabal explains that, for the inhabitants of Berry, the creature is truly dangerous. He tries to calm the situation, but Julie becomes even more confused about how the other students view Earth. 2 students from a planet with colorful skies and flying creatures begin their presentation. They describe their world as a place where danger can come from above at any moment. They show a video of a brightly colored flying creature with a curved beak and shiny feathers. The creature is described as a deadly predator that attacks without warning. The students show a video where the creature grabs a hard seed and breaks it with its beak, producing a loud, frightening sound. They emphasize that if it were a human finger, the creature would have caused serious injuries. The class reacts with astonishment and fear, applauding the presentation. The students from Berry seem proud of their work. Julie immediately recognizes the creature as a parakeet, a common and harmless bird on Earth. She becomes frustrated seeing how the other students exaggerate the dangers of their creatures, while Earth is seen as a death world for much more dangerous things. Julie comments out loud, "But that looks just like a parakeet." The class falls silent, and some students murmur that Julie is jealous or being rude. Sabal tries to calm the situation, but Julie realizes her intervention only made things worse. She feels even more isolated and misunderstood. The students are impressed by the presentations from Berry and the world of deadly skies. They see the creatures presented as dangerous monsters and feel relieved they don't have to face such threats on their own planets. When Julie tries to point out that the creatures are harmless on Earth, the students become suspicious. They think Julie is trying to downplay the dangers of other planets or that she is jealous. Julie becomes confused seeing how the other students exaggerate the dangers of their creatures, while Earth is seen as an extremely dangerous place for much more threatening things. She begins to question whether the other students truly understand what danger is. Her frustration grows as she realizes that, despite her efforts, she is still seen as an outsider. Despite the confusion and frustration, Julie feels more determined than ever to show the truth about Earth in her presentation. She wants the other students to see that Earth is a challenging but also fascinating place. Julie begins her presentation by showing a snow-covered landscape with tall trees and an almost eerie silence. Suddenly, a small, stocky, and muscular creature emerges from under the snow, snarling and baring its sharp teeth. Julie explains that the wolverine, despite its relatively small size, is known for its ferocity. It is not afraid to face much larger predators, such as bears, and is capable of defending its territory with impressive aggression. Julie shows a video of a wolverine facing a grizzly bear. The wolverine advances, snarling and showing its claws, while the much larger bear hesitates and retreats. The class is shocked to see such a small creature facing something so large. The students are impressed by the wolverine's courage and ferocity. They've never seen such a small creature be so fearless. Some students ask how it's possible for such a small creature to be so aggressive. Julie explains that the wolverine is an example of how nature on Earth can be relentless. Julie shows a snow-covered landscape with white mountains and ice-laden trees. The scene is tranquil and beautiful, but Julie soon explains that snow can be both beautiful and dangerous. Julie explains that snow forms when rain freezes in the air before hitting the ground. She describes how snow can cover everything, creating stunning landscapes but also causing problems like avalanches and extremely low temperatures. Julie shows a video of an avalanche, where a large mass of snow descends a mountain, destroying everything in its path. The class falls silent, impressed by the destructive power of snow. The students are shocked to learn that rain can freeze in the air and cover the ground with a white layer. They ask how humans can survive in such a hostile environment. Some students show interest in learning more about how snow affects life on Earth, and Julie explains that humans have developed special clothing and techniques to deal with the cold. Julie shows a dense forest with tall trees and a gently flowing river. Suddenly, a massive grizzly bear appears, walking through the forest with an imposing presence. Julie explains that bears are powerful predators with strong muscles and sharp claws. She describes how they can be dangerous, especially when defending their cubs or searching for food. Julie shows a video of a grizzly bear fishing in a river, using its claws to catch fish with precision. The class is impressed by the bear's strength and skill. The students are frightened by the bear's size and strength. They ask how humans can live on a planet where such large and dangerous creatures exist. Despite their fear, some students show admiration for the bear's beauty and power. They begin to see Earth as a place of contrasts, where beauty and danger coexist. Julie shows a deep blue ocean with gentle waves and a shimmering surface. She explains that 71% of Earth is covered by water, and that water hides some of the planet's most dangerous predators. Julie talks about sharks, piranhas, and other aquatic creatures known for their ferocity. She describes how these animals are adapted to hunt and survive in aquatic environments. Julie shows a video of a great white shark attacking a seal, with an explosion of water and blood. The class is shocked by the ferocity of the attack. Next, she shows a video of piranhas attacking a large herbivore, reducing it to bones in minutes. The students are terrified by the videos, especially Dewitt, the seal-like student, who is visibly disturbed by seeing the seal being attacked. Despite their fear, some students show fascination with Earth's marine life. They begin to ask questions about how humans interact with these creatures and how they manage to swim in such dangerous waters. Julie shows a bustling city with skyscrapers, cars, and people walking the streets. She explains that, despite all of Earth's natural dangers, the most dangerous creature of all is the human being. Julie talks about how humans are capable of changing the environment, building cities, developing technology, and even causing large-scale destruction. She explains that humans are both creators and destroyers, and that their ability to adapt and innovate is what makes them so dangerous. Julie shows videos of wars, pollution, and man-made disasters, contrasting them with images of technological advancements, art, and culture. The class falls silent, reflecting on the power and complexity of humans. The students sit in silence, absorbing the information. They begin to understand that Earth is not just a place of natural dangers, but also a place where human intelligence and ambition can be both a blessing and a curse. Despite their initial fear, the students begin to see Julie and humans in a new light. They realize that, despite all the dangers, humans are capable of incredible things. Julie was viewed with suspicion and fear by the other students. She often ate lunch alone and was avoided during group activities. Her attempts to make friends were met with caution, and she felt isolated and misunderstood. At the beginning of her presentation, Julie was nervous and anxious. She knew the class had a distorted view of Earth and feared her presentation would be met with skepticism or ridicule. Despite this, she remained determined to show the truth about her planet. Julie's presentation had a profound impact on the class. The students, who were initially frightened by Earth's dangers, began to see Julie in a new light. They were impressed by her courage and determination to show the truth about her planet. After the presentation, Julie was surrounded by curious and impressed students. They wanted to know more about Earth, about how humans deal with dangers, and about life on such a challenging planet. Julie, who was once avoided, was now the center of attention. The seal-like student was one of the first to approach Julie. He was fascinated by Earth's marine life and wanted to learn more about sharks and other aquatic creatures. He sat next to Julie during lunch and began asking questions, showing genuine interest. Other students also approached Julie, wanting to know more about bears, snow, and humans. They began to see Julie not as a dangerous outsider but as someone with incredible stories to tell. Julie was flooded with questions and comments. She tried to answer everyone, but there were so many interested students that she could barely keep up. Despite the chaos, she was happy to finally be accepted and understood. Instructor Sabal had always aimed to unite the class and promote understanding among students from different planets. He believed that by sharing their stories and dangers, the students could see that, despite their differences, they all faced similar challenges. Sabal hoped Julie's presentation would help break the stigma of Earth as a death world. He wanted the students to see Earth as a challenging but also fascinating and vibrant place. Sabal's plan worked, but in a way he didn't expect. Julie's presentation not only broke the stigma of Earth, but also turned Julie into a kind of celebrity at school. The students were so impressed by Earth's dangers that they began to see Julie as incredibly brave and resilient. The class dynamic changed drastically. The students, who once avoided Julie, now admired her and wanted to know more about her and her planet. Sabal watched with satisfaction as his class became more united and curious than ever. Sabal felt great pride in Julie and his class. He realized that sometimes the most important lessons come from where you least expect them. Julie's presentation not only taught the students about Earth but also about empathy, courage, and the importance of overcoming prejudices. Sabal decided he would use Julie's experience as an example in his future classes. He wanted all students to understand that, no matter where they came from, they all had something valuable to contribute. After the presentation, Julie is no longer seen as the girl from the death world. Instead, she is recognized as someone who brought a new perspective to the class. The students begin to include her in group activities, talk to her during recess, and show genuine interest in her culture and history. Julie makes friends with several classmates, including Dewitt, the seal-like student, who becomes one of her biggest admirers. They share stories about their planets and learn from each other, creating bonds that go beyond cultural differences. The students come to admire Julie for her courage and resilience. They see in her a person who has faced the unknown and overcome the stigma of her planet. Julie becomes an inspirational figure in the school, showing that it is possible to turn prejudice into understanding. Julie receives praise not only from the students, but also from the instructor Sabal, who congratulates her on her presentation and on having managed to change the class's perception of the Earth. She feels proud of herself and her origins. Julie's story shows how perspective can change everything. What was once seen as a world of death is now seen as a challenging but fascinating place. The students realize that their fears and prejudices were based on ignorance and that, by opening their minds, they can learn incredible things. Julie's experience teaches students the importance of empathy and understanding. They learn that, regardless of their background, everyone has unique stories and challenges. Diversity is celebrated, and the class becomes more united and collaborative. Julie's story spreads throughout the school, inspiring other students and teachers. She becomes an example of how courage and authenticity can turn prejudice into acceptance. Instructor Sabal decides to incorporate more activities that promote the exchange of experiences and cultures. He wants all the students to have the opportunity to share their stories and learn from each other. Julie ends her journey with a sense of pride in her origins. She understands that Earth, despite its dangers, is a unique place full of life. She wants everyone to know that the Earth is not just a world of death, but a place of beauty, diversity, and resilience. Julie hopes that her story will inspire others to look beyond prejudice and see the value in every culture and planet. She believes that by sharing our stories, we can build bridges of understanding and respect. Julie's story serves as a celebration of diversity and the importance of overcoming prejudice. She shows that by opening our minds and hearts, we can discover incredible things about the world and ourselves. The final message invites the audience to reflect on their own perspectives and prejudices. It reminds us that the unknown can often be frightening, but it can also be a source of learning and growth. Did you like Julie's story? Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment on how perspective can change everything. Share this video with your friends and show them how the Earth can be seen from another perspective.